Coming up on Good Morning Longhorns, as changes in the top of the tower remain top of mind, voting in campus-wide elections wrapped up yesterday, when we could know results.
A resource for new students is no more. TSTV News investigated what this means and where students can go instead.
And congratulations are in order. Women's basketball clinches the SEC title. We're looking ahead to the tournament.
Plus, if you've been to a Texas football game, then you know the talented twirler that plays with fire. We're joined later by Longhorn feature twirler Aiden Mentry.
And finally, one of Austin's biggest events, South by Southwest, is almost here. We'll be there and have a preview. All of this and more coming up right here, right now, on Good Morning Longhorns. Good morning, Longhorns, for this Wednesday, March 5th. I'm Abby Sines.
And I'm Anish Tiwari. Thanks for joining us this morning.
How are you doing this morning, Anish?
You know, Abby, I'm doing well. Spring break is around the corner, and I'm excited for that week off. What about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. You know, this is our first March show, so let's get started. First to Washington, D.C., where President Trump delivered a record-breaking 1 hour and 40-minute speech to both chambers of Congress. The president touted his sweeping executive actions, including tariffs, despite the tumbling stock market, immigration crackdown, and Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. He briefly mentioned Ukraine and said President Zelensky sent him a letter signaling he's ready to negotiate.
Freshman Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin delivered the Democratic response, but some in her party didn't wait for her speech to voice their opposition. Texas Democrat Al Green was escorted out after disrupting the president's speech just a few minutes in, with the Houston congressman shouting that Trump does not have a mandate. More on some of President Trump's other actions in just a few minutes.
Now to the state capitol, where UT System Executive Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs Archie Holmes Jr. testified before the House Higher Education Committee yesterday. Holmes told the committee that they have certified compliance with Senate Bill 17. That bill passed last session and prohibited diversity, equity, and inclusion offices on public university campuses.
Holmes was asked by representatives what programs were cut and what jobs were lost in compliance efforts. He told the committee he did not have that information with him.
Back on campus, the College of Natural Sciences appointed Andreas Matashek as interim dean. A molecular biosciences professor, he has served as associate dean for research and facilities since 2020. This comes after former dean David Van Umbout became interim executive vice president and provost in February.
Matashek has overseen collaborative research across 12 departments and has led initiatives like the CNS Wellness Center and collaborative learning spaces in Welch Hall.
More leadership changes will be coming up to campus soon as elected student leaders reach the end of their term.
Voting in campus-wide elections closed yesterday. Positions on the ballot included everything from student government representatives to positions in university unions. For more on the race for student body president and vice president, we are joined in studio this morning by our Ariba Barmal. Good morning, Ariba.
Good morning. While voting in the campus elections closed yesterday, we'll have to wait until Monday to hear the results. At the top of the ballot was the race for Executive Alliance, or student body president and vice president. This year, 6 different alliances ran for office, and their platforms covered issues ranging from affordability and food insecurity to Senate Bill 17 and free speech concerns. While we'll have to wait to see who will be the next president and vice president, I sat down with the current Executive Alliance to reflect on their time in office, including the development of mental health modules in Canvas for students. These modules will be similar to the alcohol education and sexual assault modules that students complete in Canvas their first year. Let's take a look.
It's college, so there's a lot of people have mental health struggles going on, even if they don't talk about it. And so we wanted to have mental health modules implemented into that at the beginning of the year, and then also you're able to go back and look at resources that are there for you that are UT specific.
The modules will be rolling out in the fall across the UT system. While Kelly and Grinnell had aimed to expand services at UT's Counseling and Mental Health Center in other ways as well, those initiatives did not end up being feasible. However, another project they've been working on that students will be seeing very soon is increasing access to free menstrual products on campus. Kelly and Grinnell successfully pushed for safer products for students, and those will be available in over 50 campus restrooms after spring break. My full interview with Kelly and Grinnell will be available online, and TSTV News will be bringing you the latest in campus elections next week. Back to you, Anish.
Thanks, Ariba. UT's new Student Services Office has been dissolved. TSTV News confirmed last week. New Student Services provided resources to assist students in their transition to college. While the office no longer exists, all programs will continue and will be housed in other campus offices and divisions. New Student Services previously housed programs such as New Student Orientation, Longhorn Welcome, and more. 2 staff positions were also dissolved in the change.
The past week has seen continued momentum nationwide with organized efforts protesting the Trump administration and its actions. On Friday, social media sparked an organized effort across the country to forego spending at large corporations like Amazon and Walmart. The economic blackout intended to push back against companies labeled as sympathetic to the administration's actions, including brands whose CEOs attended the inauguration. Separately, yesterday, well over 250 people gathered at the Texas Capitol for yet another protest organized by the 5051 movement. The protesters marched through downtown guided by Austin police and DPS state troopers before returning to the Capitol.
And it's been a busy week at the Capitol. Monday, the Texas Water Foundation hosted Water Day, which included panels and keynote speakers representing policies and solutions for Texas's growing water shortage. Notable organizations and names included L'Oreal Stepney, chairwoman of the Texas Water Development Board, who went viral last week for an exchange with Representative Brian Harrison, and groups like Texas 2036 and the Texas Water Association. Multiple pieces of legislation have been filed for water initiatives and investments this session, and Governor Abbott declared it an emergency item. Tune in for more on water next Monday on Tower Talks.
Texas A&M has banned drag shows across all 11 university campuses. The Board of Regents passed the resolution Friday. They say drag shows are inconsistent with the system's values as they, quote, are likely to create a hostile environment for women. Dragyland, the annual drag show in College Station, was set to take place later this month. Now, the Career Empowerment Council will have to find a different space for the event off campus. This news comes after the Texas legislature's effort to ban public drag shows last session, and more recently, a proposed state Senate bill to cut funding for libraries hosting drag story times.
The Texas Senate voted to criminalize lottery couriers as part of an ongoing investigation into the Texas Lottery Commission. If passed in the House, this would prevent Texans from entering the lottery online. This move follows reports of some courier locations buying up nearly all possible lottery number combinations, including at an Austin retail store that sold an $83.5 million jackpot ticket. Governor Greg Abbott has also directed the Texas Rangers to fully investigate the Lottery Commission.
Over to Washington, where President Trump signed an executive order making English the official language of the United States. The order allows government agencies to choose whether they wish to continue offering documents and services in other languages. The order resigns a Clinton-era directive that required the government to provide language assistance to non-English speakers. The White House says the order aims to, quote, foster national cohesion and help newcomers engage in communities and traditions.
Austin has confirmed its first case of measles since 2019. The individual affected was an infant who recently traveled overseas with family. The infant's family is vaccinated, but the infant is too young to have received the vaccine. They remain at home in isolation. The Texas outbreak has led to 1 death and the hospitalization of around 20 people so far. Officials are urging residents to ensure they're vaccinated.
Switching gears, the 8th annual TEDxUT Austin Conference was held last Saturday. The student-led event featured a showcase, speakers, and concluded with a public art gallery. TEDxUT Austin President Namisha Vanam gave us a bit of insight on the conference's purpose.
A couple of years ago, we're like, we would think it'd be really cool to host one within UT Austin because it's a great way to connect both our university with the Austin community. As you can tell through our audience, there's people that are clearly students but also clearly not. So it's just a good way to kind of bridge that barrier.
This year's conference also featured a student speaker, Joshua Benningfield, a senior public relations major. A museum across the street from campus has received national recognition. The Bullock Texas State History Museum was named the 10th Best History Museum by USA Today as part of their Reader's Choice Awards.
Nominees for the awards are submitted by a panel of experts and voted on by the public. The museum features 3 floors of exhibitions, including the Texas History Gallery, which covers 16,000 years of state history.
Talking about history, if you saw the tower shining burnt orange on Sunday, it was in honor of Texas Independence Day. March 2nd serves as a day to reflect on when Texans declared independence from Mexico.
This state public holiday commemorates the adoption of the Texas Declaration of Independence and the formation of the Republic of Texas in 1836.
It was definitely a weekend of celebration as many gathered at the LBJ lawn to celebrate Holi. The Hindu festival celebrates spring and community by throwing colored powder, known as rang, at each other.
The Hindu Student Association hosts Holi every year, providing Indian food, music, and a ton of color. The event is the biggest student-run event on campus.
After the break, we've got stories from space and the skies, plus your local forecast. We'll be right back with more Good Morning Longhorns after the break. Welcome back. We're taking you to space this morning after a Cedar Park-based company successfully landed Blue Ghost 1 on the moon Sunday. Firefly Aerospace mission is a part of NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services program.
The spacecraft will participate in several experiments and will capture some of the first images of the lunar sunset, a phenomenon only observed once before, during the Apollo era. Firefly Aerospace will send 2 more lunar landers to the moon, with the next launch set for 2026.
More aviation news back under Earth's atmosphere as Delta is starting service between Austin and Cancun, Mexico. The nonstop flight will begin operation in December and continue through April 2026.
This is Delta's first international route from Austin in 14 years. The carrier will also increase nonstop service between Austin and Orlando, Florida this winter.
Now, you may have noticed gusty winds that aren't typical for Austin. With these winds sweeping through, we are seeing fire weather warnings.
To dive deeper into your forecast, joining us on set is our Chloe Ching. Good morning, Chloe.
Good morning, Anish. Today we're seeing sunny skies with a high of 70 degrees and a low of 50. The sunny weather will continue this week as Thursday's forecast will have a high of 71 degrees and a low of 45 degrees, with Friday reaching a high of 82 degrees and a low of 58. On Saturday, temperatures will drop back down with a high of 69 and a low of 51. Sunday, you should expect cloudy skies with a high of 59 and a low of 46. Those sunny skies will be back on Monday and should remain the rest of the week. Meanwhile, just yesterday in South Central Texas, a fire weather watch was issued due to a combination of strong winds and high temperatures and low humidity. Don't forget that daylight savings time starts this Sunday. Be sure to set your clocks forward, as well as we'll be losing an hour. That's all from the Weather Center. Back to you.
In sports this morning, Texas women's basketball handed us an even better pick-me-up after securing a share of the SEC title in their first year in the conference. The Longhorns closed out their regular season, beating Florida at home 72-46. Ending off the season with a record of 30-2, Texas tied with South Carolina and shares the conference title with the Gamecocks.
A coin toss had to determine who would clinch the #1 spot. Unfortunately, Texas did not win the coin toss, but our Madison Booker was named SEC Women's Player of the Year, and Coach Vic Schaefer was named SEC Coach of the Year. The Longhorns will play their first tournament game at home in the quarterfinals this Friday at 7 p.m. Their opponent is to be determined. Now over to the men's team. They're gearing up for their last game of the regular season. They did beat ranked Mississippi State last night 87-82. Their last game will be home against OU this Saturday at 7 p.m. As of now, ESPN's bracketology has Texas listed as one of the first 4 out in March Madness. But who's to say that won't change with last night's win and a win against our biggest rival?
Now, what's going on in softball? The Longhorns currently have a record of 20-1. Their last game was against Alabama A&M, where they won 8-0.
This means they are on a 9-game winning streak since their loss to ranked Stanford. The team is number 2 in the rankings, right under OU. Their next game is tonight at McCombs Field at 6 p.m.
UT isn't just winning on the field. Athletic Director Chris Del Conte received the Austinite of the Year award last week. The annual award from the Austin Chamber of Commerce is dedicated to Austinites who make the city a better place.
Del Conte was named an honoree in November, but received the physical award at this formal presentation. His contributions to the city include the construction of the Moody Center, renovation of Darrell K. Royal Stadium, and various training facilities.
It was a busy week for Del Conte. He addressed several topics at his annual town hall last week. Among his announcements were the orange smoke deployed during football games. This will not be returning. Also, the orange and white game will be replaced with Fan Day on April 26.
When there was an inevitable question about the Rocky men's basketball program, Del Conte mentioned that he will have discussions about the program's future at the end of the year. He mentioned he would also like to see baseball become the 3rd program that makes an annual profit.
Prom season is creeping up, and dresses are just getting more and more expensive.
Luckily, Good Morning Longhorns Priyal Talwar visited a local service event that might make the process a lot cheaper. Good morning, Priyal.
Good morning, guys. The Texas Lone Stars are a spirit organization at UT. In fact, they're the only spirit group that hosts its own service event known as Project Princess. Take a look.
The Texas Lone Stars host Project Princess for girls in local high schools looking for prom dresses and accessories.
We aim for our population to be underprivileged girls in the Austin area just so that we can make their prom day a special day, because I know like a lot of girls, like for them prom is really expensive, like for anyone honestly, because typical prom dresses and accessories and shoes like could be anywhere from like $300 to $500, which is a lot for like anyone to afford. So we just want to make this prom event like very special for them and make sure that financial issues are not a burden for them to have fun and to enjoy the event with their friends.
The Lone Stars pair up with each girl as personal shoppers to help them look and feel their best at prom.
I think it's a really great thing to do. I think it makes people just feel beautiful, especially because there's like it's just a bunch of girls here and you can go in and try on dresses and they're all like cheering you on. They're like, oh, you look so good. It's so cute. Oh, that's pretty. Like, I think it's just a really great thing and you don't really, because prom dresses are expensive. So this is just a really nice way to still have that without spending like $50 billion.
For us, success looks like having a large bunch of girls be happy and like walk out with a smile on their face and like say yes to the dress, obviously. Just basically for us to have more people enjoy their prom day. And that's like honestly all we want.
Priyal Talwar, TSTV News.
Speaking of talent, you've seen her twirl fire at Texas football and basketball games. The University of Texas featured twirler Aiden Mentry joins us in studio to talk about her twirling journey. Stay with us.
Welcome back. If you've been to a football game at DKR, then you've probably spotted Aiden Mentry. Aiden is a featured twirler for the Longhorns, spinning her baton every week. Aiden is a senior studying advertising and has been doing this for UT for the last 3 years. She represented Texas in the Final 8 at the USTA National Collegiate Championships. She joins us now in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. So how did you first get into twirling and what made you fall in love with it?
Of course. So my journey's a little bit interesting. Most twirlers start kind of as a generational thing. It's something that your mom does or your grandma does, and it's just kind of something that falls into you. A baton gets placed in your hand and you kind of start. My story's a little bit different. I grew up playing all of the boy sports, all of the soccer, baseball, softball, rock climbing, all those rugged things like that. But I was a girly girl at my heart, and I was on a beach when I was in about 1st or 2nd grade, and I saw someone throwing up this sparkly metal stick, and I was just fascinated. So, of course, I asked my mom, I talked to this twirler, and I've been fortunate enough to kind of get to watch her grow up. She was a high school twirler. She went all the way through college, now has 2 beautiful babies, and is married, and I've gotten to follow in her footsteps, and we both became the twirlers that we always dreamed of. But UT had been my dream school since 5th grade, and the twirling position was just the cherry on top, and I'm so fortunate that it worked out.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Well, speaking of the position, what's the process like to become a twirler at UT?
Of course. So the process can change with every different year and kind of what they're looking for at the University of Texas. But for me, it was a 2-step process. It was impacted by COVID just because I auditioned in the 2020-2021 year. But it was a 2-step process that was a lot like a job application. So at the end of the day, this is a job, and it's my dream job. So there was a resume component, an interview component, a cover letter, recommendation letters, and a twirling audition video. So in that, you're able to express your own style and have the university see you for how you would represent them. So that's the first step of the process. Then you have to be accepted independently as a student to the university. There's no help getting in. You have to get in on your own merit. Then, following that, there's a final audition, which included a panel interview and a couple live audition pieces. So one included a 10-minute halftime show where I was required to use 1, 2, 3, and 4 batons, replicating what a halftime show would look like in Darrell K. Royal.
Oh, wow, you really do seem to do it all. So how do you balance with school and doing the twirling and everything?
My Google Calendar is my best friend, I have to admit that. But twirling has really become a juggling act. As much as that seems like a little bit of a joke, it's really true. It is in and of itself a balance of coordination, flexibility, and timing, but so is that it's taught me that in my everyday life. Twirling is constantly a balance of moving and being sure that you have the right time, but it's also an exercise of patience, and I'm so grateful that twirling since 2nd grade has really taught me to work on time management and kind of always be flexible no matter the situation.
Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Aiden. If you want to see more of Aiden and her twirling journey, you can follow her traveling account on Instagram at Longhorn Feature Twirler. When we come back, our Priyal Talwar joins us back in the studio to talk about the 16th Annual Texas Union Film Festival, highlights from the 97th Academy Awards, and the lineup for South by Southwest. You won't want to miss this.
Welcome back to Good Morning Longhorns. The film industry has taken over this month with so many events celebrating cinema. Back with us on set today to break everything down is Priyal Talwar. Welcome back, Priyal.
Thank you so much, guys. There's so much happening in film recently, so I can't wait to dive right in. Starting on campus, the 16th Annual Texas Union Film Festival took place last Thursday, displaying the creative work of student filmmakers. The event was hosted by Campus Events and Entertainment and showcased 10 finalist films, ranging in genre anywhere from animated shorts to mini documentaries. Each student's work was judged, and prizes for first, second, and third place included a South by Southwest film badge and an Austin Film Festival producer's badge. TSTV News spoke with a few of the winners.
I think what got me into filmmaking was wanting to tell stories that kind of highlight the Latinx community and just marginalized people in general.
I think it's just cool to go and support stuff like that because it's being done by all people that are our age. You know, it's very little adult involvement. I think that's pretty cool that even at our age we're still putting on those pretty decent sized events.
Didn't make it this year? The annual film festival will remain a tradition in the future, continuing to celebrate hard work and dedication of student filmmakers.
In other film news, the 2025 Oscars honored some of the best in cinema yesterday, with Conan O'Brien hosting the 97th Academy Awards. Honora really led the night, taking home Best Picture and 4 other awards, including Best Director to Sean Baker and Best Actress to Mikey Madison.
Speaking of the top acting awards, Aidan Brody took home Best Actor for The Brutalist. Best Supporting Actor went to Kieran Culkin's role in A Real Pain, and Best Supporting Actress went to Zoe Saldana in Emilia Perez. In fact, the hit film Emilia Perez led the night in 13 nominations and took home 2 awards.
Yeah, and I was truly captivated by Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo's performance. Hearing Defying Gravity live definitely set the stage for the night and made people even believe that the two were really snubbed from their respective categories. The Academy also brought out Los Angeles firefighters during the show and ended the night raising money for wildfire victims. And the Oscars were such a fun night for cinema, but the fun doesn't stop there. This Thursday marks the start of the annual Global Festival, South by Southwest. That takes place right here in downtown Austin until March 15th. The festival will include hundreds of panels, artists, performances, and film premieres. Here are some highlights. So Hook'em House will return March 7th through 8th. Longhorn Pride will take over Antone's nightclub with a series of performances by UT students, the Longhorn Band, and multiple panels with guests like UT legend Colt McCoy. Many artists will hit the stage throughout the week, including performances from Benson Boone, Megan Maroney, Brittany Spencer, and John Summit.
So regarding panels, South by Southwest announced last week that Ben Stiller, an Apple vice president, will sit down on March 9th and discuss the Apple TV Plus show, Severance, that has taken the industry by storm. Other keynote speakers include U.S. Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, Apple Music's Global Creative Director Zane Lowe, and co-founder and co-CEO of Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, Dr. Priscilla Chan.
And can't make it to the festival? No problem. Continue to stay updated through TSTV socials to check out the latest in South by Southwest content from our reporters.
That's all the time we have for this Wednesday. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Abby Sines.
And I'm Anish Tiwari. From our Good Morning Longhorns team, we'll see you back here next week. For Campus First News, you can follow us on Instagram at Good Morning Longhorns and check out our website at tstvnews.com.